The 20th century promised progress and hope.
A storm of ideology, ambition, and violence swept continents, leaving 70 million lives lost. Between 1939 and 1945, shadows of war consumed nations. The roots of conflict lay in the ashes of World War I, after the Treaty of Versailles.
In the years after the First World War, Germany faced hyperinflation, leaving its currency fragile and unstable.
The Great Depression brought unemployment and uncertainty, deepening the challenges already present in German society. Amid despair, new political voices rose in beer halls and meeting places, promising strength and renewal. Posters and speeches promised revival and strength, capturing the hopes of a struggling nation. Public gatherings grew larger, as voices of unity and strength drew vast crowds into their message. By the early 1930s, political change had reshaped the streets and squares of Germany, signaling a turning point. By 1944, momentum had shifted. Allied fleets pushed forward, carrying the promise of liberation. The summer of 1944 brought advancing convoys across Europe, marking the beginning of liberation for many regions. In August 1944, Paris celebrated its freedom as citizens filled the streets in a moment of triumph. As 1944 drew to a close, Allied forces advanced eastward, pressing closer to Germany's borders. As winter settled in, fierce battles in the forests tested both endurance and determination on the front lines. High above the battlefields, vast air campaigns reshaped strategies and stretched the conflict across the skies. On the open seas, naval clashes became decisive, shaping supply lines and altering the balance of power. Across continents, leaders coordinated strategies, sharing resources and planning joint offensives. Beyond the front lines, entire nations mobilized, factories, farms, and families all contributing to the struggle. Front lines shifted back and forth, with each advance and retreat reshaping the course of the war. Allied nations coordinated strategies, pooling their strength for a united effort. The tide began to turn as Allied forces gained momentum across land, sea, and air. Carefully planned offensives placed pressure on opposing forces, shifting momentum toward the Allies.
Allied control of the skies gave them an edge, securing vital routes and protecting advancing forces.
Reliable supply lines kept advancing forces equipped, fueling the momentum of the campaign. Breakthroughs in code breaking unlocked enemy communications, shaping key strategic decisions.
Air superiority became essential, ensuring protection for ground forces and disrupting enemy operations.
Industrial production surged, supplying the machines and materials that sustained the war effort. Industrial production surged, supplying the machines and materials that sustained the war effort. In the deserts of North Africa, campaigns tested endurance, strategy, and supply under harsh conditions. Control of the Mediterranean secured vital trade routes and opened pathways to new theaters of war. In North Africa, vast deserts became battlegrounds where supply and endurance mattered more than numbers. The front lines in North Africa shifted constantly, with each side struggling for ground and vital supply lines. At El Alamein, the vast desert became a critical point, where strategy and endurance determined momentum. By 1942, the vast Eastern Front stretched into a stalemate, where harsh winters tested both armies as battles raged on. Control of the seas became critical, as convoys carried supplies across dangerous waters patrolled by submarines. Control of the seas became critical, as convoys carried supplies across dangerous waters patrolled by submarines. Submarines prowled the oceans, striking from below and turning supply routes into perilous journeys. The Battle of the Atlantic lasted for years, with convoys carrying lifelines of food, fuel, and equipment to distant shores. To protect vital shipments, escort vessels sailed alongside merchant convoys, guarding them from sudden attacks at sea.
In the skies, air power grew rapidly, with fleets of aircraft reshaping the nature of warfare from above.
Bombing campaigns shifted the conflict skyward, striking factories and infrastructure to weaken the enemy's capacity to fight.
Urban centers became targets, as searchlights and warning sirens marked a new kind of danger from above.
Beneath the cities, people gathered in shelters, enduring long nights with resilience and unity.
Through radios and broadcasts, voices carried messages of courage, lifting spirits during uncertain times.
Amid uncertainty, daily routines carried on. Markets, schools, and workplaces adapted to new realities of life in wartime.
Behind the front lines, factories became engines of progress, producing supplies that sustained the effort across the globe.
From factories to the front, supply convoys carried food, fuel, and equipment, lifelines for those enduring the long conflict.
Across oceans, fleets carried essential goods, linking continents and sustaining distant campaigns.
Railways carried enormous loads across vast distances, linking cities, ports, and front lines with vital supplies. The skies became vital routes of delivery, as cargo planes carried food, medicine, and equipment, where speed was essential. Crossing vast distances, these aircraft carried vital cargo over mountains and seas, bridging allies in need. Upon landing, supplies were swiftly unloaded, ensuring food, medicine, and fuel reached the people who needed them most. Once unloaded, supplies were carried inland by convoys of trucks, reaching towns and camps far from the front. Convoys reached camps where supplies were sorted and distributed, supporting those working and living far from cities. At the camp, supplies were sorted and distributed, providing fuel, food, and tools for daily operations and recovery efforts. Keeping supply routes open through mountains was vital, as armies depended on fuel, food, and equipment for survival.
Ports and harbors became lifelines, where supplies and reinforcements began long journeys overseas. Across vast oceans, convoys carried the lifeblood of war, supplies, fuel, and reinforcements to distant fronts. Convoys sailed under constant watch, shielded by escorts that guarded the ocean lanes with vigilance.
Above the waves, patrol aircraft scanned the horizon, adding a watchful shield to convoys below. Above the waves, patrol aircraft scanned the horizon, adding a watchful shield to convoys below.
Life aboard these ships was a test of endurance, as sailors balanced duty with the endless rhythm of the sea. In between long shifts, sailors found comfort in shared meals, moments of rest that reminded them of home.
Every day, crews worked tirelessly to maintain their vessels, ensuring each ship remained seaworthy on long journeys. Letters carried across the seas offered hope, reminding sailors of the lives and loved ones waiting beyond the horizon. In rare, quiet moments, music filled the cabins, lifting spirits and reminding crews of familiar comforts.
Simple games and shared story offered brief escapes, binding crews together through companionship and routine.
Night watch demanded vigilance, as every shadow across the horizon could mean danger for the convoy. As dawn broke, weary crews found reassurance in the light, a daily reminder of survival and endurance at sea. With the sun rising, crews began daily routines, checking equipment, cleaning decks, and readying for another day at sea. In daylight, escort ships maintained constant watch, scanning the seas for signs of movement beyond the convoy. Convoys moved in precise formations, merchant ships at the center and escorts forming a protective ring around them. Every voyage demanded vigilance. Crews scanned the horizon endlessly, alert to changes in the vast expanse of sea.
Nature added its own trials.
Storms could scatter ships and push crews to their limits on the open sea. Fog could roll in without warning, turning the vast ocean into a maze of shadows and silence. Signals and lights guided the way. In dense fog, careful navigation kept ships aligned and safe on their journey. When the fog lifted, sunlight revealed the convoy once more, reassurance that order still guided their path. With order restored, daily routines returned. Equipment checked, lookouts steady, and discipline unbroken. With the skies cleared, the convoy tightened its lines, sailing forward with renewed unity and shared resolve. Navigation remained critical. Charts, instruments, and constant vigilance guided the convoy through the vast expanse. Signals of light stitched the fleet together. Simple flashes carried vital instructions across the open waters. Deep below deck, the engines thundered without pause, steady power that kept the convoy pressing forward. As night fell, the convoy pressed on. Quiet routines carried the crews through the long hours. As weather shifted, waves tested the convoy's endurance. Seamanship and steady hands kept the fleet on course. With the storm behind them, the convoy found calmer waters. Sunlight brought renewed strength for the journey ahead. With calmer waters, routine returned. Crews checked equipment, logged reports, and prepared for the day's watch. Meals brought the crew together. At long tables, routines of eating and conversation gave rhythm to life at sea. Once meals ended, the rhythm of duty resumed. The crew returned to the deck, ready for the watch ahead. The convoy sailed in close formation. Each ship's position safeguarded the others. Each vessel carried its share of responsibility. This escort ship guarded the flank, ensuring the convoy's passage stayed secure. From afar, the convoy appeared as silhouettes on the horizon, small against the vastness of the ocean. Eyes scanned the horizon without pause. Constant watch ensured that nothing on the vast sea went unnoticed. Inside the bridge, navigation lights glowed softly. Each course was plotted with care, guiding the convoy safely through dark waters. Through steady radio signals, vital messages passed between ships, ensuring unity across the convoy. Beyond radios, signal lamps flashed messages across the waves, linking ships without a sound. On the horizon, another ship answered. Each flash was read with discipline, forming silent words in the night. Inside the bridge, signals were quickly relayed. Every word mattered, shaping the convoy's next move. Orders were given. The convoy would shift its course, each vessel aligning to protect the mission. At the wheel, the helmsman followed the command. The ship began its turn, steady and precise. Across the horizon, ships turned in unison. The convoy shifted as one body, steady and disciplined. The new formation took shape. Each ship held its place, creating a moving shield across the sea. On deck, the crew carried out their duties with practiced rhythm. Every motion ensured the ship stayed true to course. Inside the bridge, navigation was confirmed. The convoy held firm on its new course. The convoy pressed onward, holding its formation with precision and unity. Below deck, the crew maintained steady focus, ensuring every system ran as planned. Surrounded by endless water, the ships pressed on, steady and resolute. Inside the vessel, routine checks continued, each task reinforcing the journey's steady rhythm. Beneath the open sky, the convoy advanced with precision, each vessel holding its place. On the bridge, the crew held their stations, maintaining course with disciplined precision. Signals flowed constantly through the bridge, linking ships across the vast convoy. At the chart table, careful lines and markings guided the convoy across uncertain seas. At the helm, steady hands held the ship on course through vast and unpredictable waters.
On the bridge, each command moved quickly from one officer to another, ensuring unity of action. Outside, the convoy shifted in unison, each vessel adjusting to maintain its vital place in formation. From the deck, the view stretched across the restless sea, each ship a moving link in the great chain of the convoy.
From above, the convoy seemed endless, steel silhouettes etched against the vast expanse of the sea.
Close alongside, the ships kept their rhythm, vast steel walls cutting through the restless sea together.
Ship after ship pressed onward, their steady advance a testament to resilience and cooperation at sea.
As the horizon swallowed the convoy, it stood as a reminder of endurance, sacrifice. The story of World War II remains a reminder of unity, endurance, and the hope for lasting peace.